Hi there, my name is Vidad and I'm an online learning designer at SILT. In this video, I'm going to share with you some basic ideas and ways on how you can make your Vula site accessible to a wide range of diverse students. So what is accessibility? Simply put, accessibility is the practice of making content as usable by as many people as possible. Traditionally, we think of accessibility as a concept and practice that is only applicable to people with disabilities, but actually it's intended to make learning more accessible for all students. For example, people with different schooling experiences and learning preferences. There are also differences regarding devices used, such as mobile phones and shared laptops, as well as unstable or slow internet connections and even digital literacy levels. There are also cultural and language differences, such as a mother tongue language of a student being different to the medium of instruction. These are just some of the dimensions of diversity that come to mind. The practice of accessibility benefits all. Some of the benefits include that students will be able to engage in deep learning rather than surface learning. Another benefit is that the learning experience is heightened and more meaningful, and there is better response and involvement from students in a course. There are many frameworks that can be used to go about planning and making content accessible for online teaching, such as the use of the universal design for learning, which has three key principles. The first, or not in any particular order, but on my screen, the first is to provide multiple means for students to engage with content. Secondly, to provide multiple means for content to be represented. And thirdly, to provide multiple means for students to take action and to express themselves, to express also what they are learning or the challenges that they may have with the content. For more information about UDL, you can simply Google. I'm sure there's hundreds of resources available, or you can refer to the SILT Guideline on inclusive learning through UDL. As you can see, this is a document. We give you some useful techniques on what to do, strategies, and we also have some extra resources that you can refer to. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to focus on some basics on how you can make content on your Vula site accessible. So let's get started. The first basic guideline pertains to setup and navigation. When students log on to your Vula site, ideally you want them to know how content is laid out so that they can access information easily. For some students, Vula may be completely new, and each course on Vula may operate or be laid out differently as required by the discipline itself or the choice of course design by the teaching staff. To explain the way your content is laid out on your Vula site and how the course will be running is therefore very important. You can use the course outline feature to do so, or have a lesson that is dedicated to explain how your course will work. So in this example, there is the course outline tool, and here you can see that the lecturer has given some general introduction or information about the course, also who to contact, and the lecturer has also explained how communications will be managed and communicated to students in the course, and the course structure, prescribed readings and textbooks, as well as tests and assignments and when they are due, and some information with regards to how the assessment is broken down, what will happen if a student submits a late assignment, penalties and procedures, as well as course dates in terms of what will be happening, what content will be covered in which week. There is also a video to explain how the course will work. This is a short video.
Hola chicos, bien for communication in the course. WhatsApp is our best tool for communication. So if you are not part of the group, please join them. You have the emails for the tutor and for myself, and if you don't receive any answers in 2 days, please contact Eloise.
What helps with navigation is also clear labels, such as labeling of lessons, as you can see on the left menu bar, as well as having descriptions of what that lesson is about. For instance, lesson 1, report review. Lesson 2 is about creating, organizing, and delivering content modules in sequences, such as by week or unit. So that's very helpful to have descriptions. And also, if you go into the resources tab, it also helps if you can keep to the same labeling as well as label files. So here, for example, with regards to audio files, the lecturer has labeled it very descriptively, so the student can clearly see that these files pertain to lesson 1, it's a report introduction, and it is clearly an audio. Inside a lesson, headings are also useful to organize content, such as in this course, where all prescribed readings are lectures, interviews, and forum discussions as seen here. With the headings are also icons which further indicate what kind of learning or activities will be happening. Let's look at another example. This video. As for content itself, such as the learning materials that students will view, the general guide is to have the same learning material item in multiple different formats, especially learning material items that are core. So for this example, we can see that there is a lecture in the form of a video, and at the same time, if I scroll down further, there's a audio version of that file, of that video file, as well as a transcript. Students also have the choice of downloading this item should they wish to download it on their PC or on their mobile phone and to access from there. Because sometimes reading it on Vula may not be very easy for them. They can make it big as well, the text, enlarge the text if they wish to do that. Another guideline is to indicate how big the files are so that students can decide which version to download based on their data budgets. So here we can see that the video is 104 megabytes and the audio is 38 megabytes, or you can simply read the transcripts on Vula or download it. Here is a second example of how multiple formats are made available to the student. With this example, we can see that PowerPoint slides are listed as one of the multiple formats that students can look at. So let's talk about text. Typed text on Vula and those in PDFs and other documents can also be enlarged so that it can be easy on the eye and for legibility purposes. Text should be a minimum size of 12 points, and font styles shouldn't be too curly or fancy, as it may be challenging to read by some students. So I suggest you use Badana, Arial, Times New Roman, because these are all good fonts in terms of legibility. If there are important concepts or information that you want to emphasize to the students, you can make this text in bold, as seen over here, or you can simply put that in italics, as with this example. If you are going to use a colored background, ensure that there is sufficient color contrast between the text and the background. If you are uncertain about which color contrast will work best, you can simply Google this. There are many free tools on the internet that you can use to do your color tests, such as this one. Text descriptions should also accompany images used as far as possible to eliminate any ambiguity. A good idea is to make the text in italics as a way for it to stand out from the rest of the text content and to describe the image based on what is to be learned or extracted from it. As a way to get students to engage with content and to express their learnings, it is important to make such opportunities available through having contextually relevant and exciting topics to discuss, of which images or documents can be included as a starting point for some lively discussion. The engagement of these topics or questions can be implemented or facilitated through Vula tools such as forums, polls, blogs, the comment tool, which is a tool or function in the lessons tool, as well as checklists, the Q&A tool, and the chat room tool. It is strongly recommended to use a variety of interactive tools rather than just one, so that students can have multiple opportunities to participate and share their different views. In a forum discussion, students can detail at length their views as well as get feedback from lecturers and peers through text as seen over here, as well as through a voice note. As a lecturer or tutor, you may need to start the conversation as a means to show students how to use the tool, or simply just to break the ice, as some students may be shy. So here we can see in this example, the lecturer has started the discussion, which students then replied. With the poll tool, students can quickly indicate their thinking or preference rather than explaining, which in turn helps the teaching staff to gauge how the class is progressing and differing. Let's show you an example. The students could submit the answer, but if you just want to see the poll, here we go, and it will give us details like this. Checklists, on the other hand, can be used by students to check their individual progress through ticking blocks and not having to compare themselves to others. The Q&A tool can be used as a space for students to ask questions about the general structure of the course, as in this course, where students need some clarity about accessing files and assignments. For more information on how to use the various Vula interactive tools, please refer to the SILT guides and videos which are listed on the SILT website. To conclude, these are just some general ways on how you can make content on your Vula site accessible to a wide range of diverse students as far as possible. Thank you and take care. See you online.